What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be replacing the stock shifter in my '03 Ford Mustang with a MGW short shifter. So we're just going to get right into this. I believe the install is the same for all 99 '04 Mustangs. It might be a little different depending on which transmission you have, but I'm pretty sure this one has the 3650. So we're just going to go ahead and take off the stock shift knob, which is disgusting looking, super worn out. And after you have the shift knob out, you just want to take this center console piece out, and this holds the cigarette lighter. So typically this should all come off in one piece with the boot. I was struggling a little bit with this little connector that goes into the cigarette lighter, so I just got a screwdriver and I pushed down on the tab right here that was locking it in. But this is all supposed to come off in one piece with the boot attached to it. However, whoever had this dash out before kind of screwed with it, I guess. So it did not all come off in one piece. So the boot is actually separate from the shifter itself, and it's pretty nasty under here. Yeah, because, there we go. Now that the boot is off, you want to go ahead and get this stock handle off as well. So I realized I didn't even show the stock throws on this thing, but they're pretty long. Like, I found first, second is fine, third to fourth, I don't know, but it was like really the downshifting that got me, because my other Mustang has some cheap short throw shifter in it, and it's so notchy, and I'm so used to just being able to hit my gears really easily and having a good feel for what gear I'm in. We're gonna go ahead and remove the handle here. These are 13mm bolts, and this thing was so extremely tight. The bottom wasn't as bad, but the top one was super hard to do for no reason. It's almost like Ford didn't want you to take this thing out. So after that's out, I'm just gonna leave this, take that there, and we can go ahead and remove these 4 bolts that we have in here. So you're probably gonna need an extension for this, because the bolts in the back are a little hard to reach. Now these ones are 8mm, and I will be using an electric ratchet to get them out. Okay guys, so I got the boot off, and that took a lot more time than I actually expected. I'm pretty sure the previous owner had this out for some reason before. The one bolt right here was like super cross-threaded, and I could not get it out. I was just having the hardest time with it. So we got that off, and basically now there are 4 more right here that we need to take out, and then this thing's ready to come off. Went ahead and got all 4 of those bolts out, and as you can see, this thing is so crusty and gross, and there's actually a little rip in the boot here on the shifter itself. So it's probably a good thing that I'm replacing it. And these things, I just got them off by hand. They were super tight as well, probably because they've been in there for a really long time. But I don't think we will be reusing these because they're too short for the MGW shifter. Okay, so we got that back on there, and you want to push it over here and give it a few whacks. Now I feel like this is probably going to be super difficult, so you want to make sure you don't do this in a gear and you just do it in neutral. I had to take a trip to the store and pick up a mallet because I don't know where my other one went, and I still have the handle attached, and I just gave it some good whacks here, of course in neutral, and it came right off. Now you just got to be careful when you lift this up, because there will be transmission fluid on it. So I got some paper towel, and I'm just gonna cover up right here because I don't want this to drip anywhere, and I don't know where I'm gonna put it, so I think I'm just gonna set it on my driveway. So I'm gonna lift this up slowly. Okay, looking good. There's nothing really. So this pivot cap here on the pivot cap, whatever you want to call it, there we go. See, we got some tranny fluid. You're gonna have to take this off, so it just pops right off, or it should pop right off. Nothing has been going smoothly so far. And then you want to transfer this over to your MGW short shifter. Okay guys, so it's starting to get dark out, so I want to try and speed this up a little bit, but this little pivot cup is incredibly difficult, or at least it was for me, to get off the stock shifter. So I struggled with this for like half an hour, and then putting it back on here is also like really difficult. So I'm assuming this is the OEM one, but it's on there and it moves. I can't do it with one hand, but it does move in there. It just feels really stiff. Let's see if I can do it. Like I'm not too sure if it's supposed to be like that, but I went ahead and cleaned up the surface there that it's gonna mount on. We'll be using the gasket, so I'm gonna go get that set up. Okay, so I'm gonna line this up the best I can, and I'm gonna try and get this pivot cup where it came from, so it sits in the transmission. And like I said, I'm using the gasket, so I don't really have to worry too much if I have to take it off again and put it back on. But it looks like we got it pretty much spot on there. All we gotta do now is use the bolts that MGW provides. So guys, it's now 2 days later since I installed the MGW. I ended up having a lot of problems with it. It gave me a really hard time, to be honest. A little bit was my fault as well, but I got everything put back together, and when I was going to mount the MGW shifter onto the transmission, I kept dropping washers and the locking washers, and I actually ended up losing a washer and had to go get another one, and it was starting to get dark out, but I got everything put back together. I got a new shift knob on here, and I got this nice little e-brake cover as well. And then I threw this ring on. This just popped in. It was a nice little ring from UPR. After I got everything put back together, I noticed the clip up here where the bolt is supposed to be is broken, and there was no bolt there. And then all the retaining clips that hold this trim bezel in were off. There were no clips whatsoever. So every time I shifted first to second, the whole bezel would move. It would pop out and towards me, which was super annoying, going first to second. And if I just did first to second a lot, or, you know, even back here, just like, you know, an hour of driving, this bezel would be out and it would be driving you insane. So I took the bezel out of my other Mustang, and I took the clips off of that one. And then I even got a replacement bolt for this side off of my other Mustang. And now everything's good. It doesn't move. This works. So I'm fingers crossed that it stays like that. But honestly, these MGW shifter throws are super short. Like, my only thing that I find really strange about this thing is that this is neutral. Like, it is really tight. But first to second, third to fourth, feels good. It actually really does. And like I said, it's super short. So I like it, but it's gonna be taking some getting used to, and I honestly haven't even driven it yet. So once I do get to drive it, I'll be making a more in-depth review. But I'm just happy I got it back in, and you know, I'm a little upset with myself that I couldn't film the rest of it while I was putting it back together, but it was a big pain in the ass. So I'm just glad I got it back together, and that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys all for watching.